Hi, let's talk about attendance today. In this, we're going to talk about attendance, requests, shifts mapping, and all the settings that we have in this. So, let's get started with how attendance is being managed with Zeba Pro. So, first, you can have a very beautiful UI on the first page when you click on attendance, where I can see first check in, last checkout, overtime, and total hours. And I can also see the chart, the Gantt chart. In this, I can simply see at what time I checked in, which is 11:56, and what was the system type. In my case, it was my laptop. It can be a punch-in machine or it can be a phone as well, depending on your policies. Now, let's move to my requests. Requests are nothing but when you want to raise a request for your attendance, where you either skipped your attendance in some cases or in some cases you would like to change it. So you using attendance regularization request, you can mark attendance for both the situations. Let's move to shifts. In a company, there can be many shifts which are possible, right? So in all those cases, you can manage multiple shifts, and let's try to create one. You just simply give a name, specify the department, start date, start time, end time for that particular shift. For example, your shift is the US shift. So you would most probably start at 7 p.m. and end it around 3 a.m. Right? So alongside to that, if you would like to mark a particular weekend, you can change it as well. So in your case, the weekend can be Monday or and Tuesday. And if I just remove Sunday and Saturday, and I can mark it for Monday and Tuesday as well. And then you simply submit, and then the shift is created. Let's move to the mapping, user shift mapping. There are two ways to map a shift. First, if I want to map a shift to a user from one date to another date, I can simply go to assign shift, and I can specify the user, the shift, and the start time, start date, and the end date with reason. Or there is another possibility where if I want to specify a shift for only particular one day, then I can just simply click on that particular day and I can assign the shift like this. So now I can see that on 1st of October, Adil has been assigned with US shift. It's pretty simple. Let's go to settings. With this, we have working hours or time blocks. Under working hours, you can manage total hours calculation type, where either it can be first check in and last checkout. So the total time duration between these two time will be calculated as total hours. So if I click on every valid check-in and checkout, then in this case, it will be every check-in and checkout, and some of those particular calculations will be taken as total hours. The next will be minimum hours required for a day. You can keep it as strict mode or a lenient mode. So in a strict mode, the user has to spend those number of hours strictly, and they cannot go below those hours unless they'll be marked as half day or absent. So in this case, you can see the full day would be marked with 8 hours. If somebody has not marked 8 hours, they'll be marked as half day. And if somebody has not marked as even 4 hours and going below 4 hours, then the user will be marked as absent. In the lenient mode, you just expect how many hours do you say that the user should spend in a day. There is no strict regulation to this, so the user is expected to spend that much hours. So based on that, we just keep it. You can keep it a manual hours, or you can specify based on the shift of the user, they can also work. So whatever the shift is assigned to that particular user, they will be working on based on it. The next would be the grace period. So if the check-in time for that particular user is 10 a.m., then we provide 15 minutes grace period time. Otherwise, they'll be marked as late. We'll also talk about how the latecomers are shown in our system under my attendance. So the next would be allow self attendance. So there are scenarios where you would like to allow the users to self mark attendance in the past. So in such cases, you simply just enable it and change it to, for example, 3 days. For past 3 days, the users can simply update their attendance themselves. They don't need to really raise any request for regularization. The next would be time logs. So if you would like to restrict the users to check in on weekends or holidays, you can simply use this setting. So I was just talking about this grace period. Let's go to my attendance. So you can see this turtle, right? This turtle is basically to specify that the user has been late, right? Because for me, check-in time should have been at 10 a.m., but I checked in at 11:56. So I'm marked as with a turtle. So if I go back to my earlier dates, I can say that there is no turtle because I marked my attendance at 10 a.m. So that's why there's no turtle here. Thanks for watching.